All right, Basement Tapes 243. Listen, we spent some time very seriously talking about some serious topics like the 72 baseball and football issues by Top. So let's lighten the mood here a little bit. And nothing is more farcical than American politics. So 1972 Topps U.S. presidents set. And I guarantee you this won't be as long an episode as the baseball and football recaps. But here is the 1972 Topps U.S. presidents. I have 4 of them in my collection. You are not a near mint. You are an excellent mint. Anyway, let's get over to Beckett. Beckett doesn't have much to say. It says it's produced by Topps. 43 of these, $1.94. Average value, $83.50. Total value, a set of these between $30 and $80 out there on the open market. Let's look at the 43 cards here and see who is the top 3 performers. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Franklin Roosevelt, and John Kennedy are all ranked in the first position. Now, take that with a grain of salt because even with that said, George Washington was a DP, a double print, so he wins by tiebreaker. Let's get over to TCDB, and we see that this looks so suspiciously like the Bowman and the Topps U.S. presidents sets from the 1950s. And, of course, Topps could get away with this because Topps owned all the Bowman intellectual property at that point. So errors and variations. Richard Nixon, 36A. It says original 1936 card until Topps released second Nixon card as an update in 1966 with terms 1969 through 1974. So if you are a math wizard, you know that it's only 5 years. And unless you done got nutted in the head or died from pleurisy on your inauguration walk, that is less than 2 full terms there. And in the 36B, Richard M. Nixon says released in 76 for the 72 set, listing Nixon's term as 69 through 74. Okay. Shirley Chisholm's in there. I don't know why. 37A, original 37 card until Topps released Ford card as update in 1976. And 37B is the Gerald R. Ford card released in 1976 for the 72 set, listing Ford as 38th president, term 1974. So I'm confused as crap right there. And I'm sure you are too. But if it's a 72 set, why do we keep releasing different cards in ensuing years? Presidential campaign posters apparently were available as inserts in these cards. Comments. C2 Cigars tells us the presidential campaign posters inserts is a big disappointment. You would think it would be reprints of actual campaign posters. Not a single one is an image of an actual campaign poster. So C2 Cigars has a gripe. Perhaps it's an honest gripe, but maybe C2 Cigars needs to understand that we're just releasing some artistic renderings of what we perceive to be happenings of the past there. And I say we, I mean Topps. Packaging. Look at this package here. As that's what she said again. We got Washington crossing the Delaware River, and we've got Nixon crossing the White House and the American Public Trust. U.S. presidents, bubblegum, net weight 0.18 ounces, curved T Topps logo on there. Beautiful wax box. If you were to find that empty box out in the wild, I'm sure you would scoop that up because it's a fun little American history item as well as collecting as well. Blue wax packs, Mount Rushmore is depicted. U.S. presidents plus 1972 candidates with one stick of gum. You could get a send in here, a mail in. Let's see here. Or maybe it's just an advertisement. It says lick, slurp, chomp, bite, chew. Do not Google that either. Big mouth on a stick. Do not Google that. The luscious candy coated lollipop with a bubblegum center. It changes colors right before your eye. Right before your eye tooth? Okay. Do it. Man, there's some many innuendos on that wax pack that I'm not comfortable diving into further. So let's go to the gallery here. Again, 43 cards. We see Washington, most likely in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, right down the street from where I am currently sitting. And Washington, fully wigged, ready to go, looking like a sexy senior, perhaps, or a silver fox. There is John Adams. He's looking at his house with his wife. He's from up north there, Massachusetts, I believe. Thomas Jefferson, he's writing, as he always did, down there in Charlottesville, perhaps. James Madison, he's another one of those Virginia folks. James Monroe, I believe, is another one of those Virginians, as were a lot of presidents back then. John Quincy Adams is irate behind a lectern. A lectern is something you stand behind. A podium is something you stand on, by the way. Andrew Jackson has a nice little man bun on his forehead. So Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren looking like a lot of baseball card collectors in 2024 with that haircut. William Henry Harrison, card number 9. John Tyler had a boatload of wives, by the way. Card number 10. James K. Polk, he is out there on the frontier, I guess, with Daniel Boone, coonskin cap. Zachary Taylor, he was a person on a horse in battle, apparently. Not sure what war that was, 1812 perhaps. Millard Fillmore's chopping wood. He's done a lot of damage in the back there. Franklin Pierce is taking his girl to the prom out there on the western front. James Buchanan, he's from Pennsylvania. And he is in front of his log cabin with a tree that perhaps Millard Fillmore had chopped down in front. Abe Lincoln is playing basketball there, or in the mosh pit. I can't tell, but in the background, he is having the time of his life. Andrew Johnson sitting on top of a table, perhaps on a bender, with Abe Lincoln behind him, possibly filming an episode of Intervention. Ulysses S. Grant and Robert Lee appear on card at number 18, shaking hands. And Rutherford B. Hayes, he is in the middle of a battle in the background there as well. James Garfield is on a canal, towing a boat on his pack mules or horses or whatever they prefer to be called these days. Chester B. Arthur, I'm sorry, I said B. Arthur. Chester A. Arthur is being pursued by warships in the background on the high seas. Grover Cleveland is selling bubble wrap to a woman in a hooped skirt. Looks like she is a fan of the Ukraine soccer team, judging by the colors of that. Benjamin Harrison has some stuff. Perhaps he's working on the docks, part of the rackets there. The shakedown of new goods, the mafia tax. I don't know what I'm saying. William McKinley is, I don't know what's going on. He's some sort of weird family game where they get on the horse and the cart and try to go through a battlefield with cannonballs exploding around them. Theodore Roosevelt, he's a Rough Rider. He is riding into your picture with his horses and his gang up San Juan Hill, perhaps. William H. Taft, he's a bit of a downer. He's pictured in front of what I believe to be the Supreme Court or something similar to that. Woodrow Wilson, he's marching solemnly with a bunch of other people in formation. Warren G. Harding, he is printing baseball cards in the background there, and someone is pointing out that is not the one of one that we wanted to insert in here. Calvin Coolidge, he is farming and having hay girl time in the back there, throwing his hay all around. Herbert Hoover is going on a cruise, it looks like. He's dressed for a cruise as well with his big old lapels and all that stuff. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, actually, we talked about this before, I think, in the 50s, but an interesting card there depicting him from a wheelchair and in crutches and all that stuff. So kind of a groundbreaking card, if you ask me. Harry S. Truman is on the battlefield, we believe. I'm not sure which battle that was. Perhaps it was World War I, the Great War, they call that. Dwight D. Eisenhower, heavily involved in World War II. There's all sorts of carnage happening behind him. John F. Kennedy, he is swimming, practicing his lifeguard skills there off of Hyannisport and really earning that lifeguard merit badge, I guess. Lyndon Baines Johnson, he's in Congress, which is not very thrilling. And Richard Nixon is depicted as a president. not a disgraced president, but a president just in front of the White House there. And there you see Shirley Chisholm, 1972 candidates for U.S. president. Gerald R. Ford, he's card number 37. He's an official U.S. president at that point. He's from Michigan. Hubert H. Humphrey is a candidate for president in 72 as well, as is John Lindsay, George McGovern, and Edward Muskie, and Teddy Era Kennedy, and George Wallace. So let's read about Shirley Chisholm because we don't see too many female presidential candidates back in the 70s. But let's read about her from the back of her card. This is card 37, Shirley Chisholm, 1972 presidential candidate. Born in Brooklyn in November 1924, received honorary doctorate from Talladega, Hampton, NC Central, and Columbia Colleges. 1949, married Conrad Chisholm. Taught nursery school 1964 to 1968. Member of New York State Assembly. Member of 91st Congress from 12th District. Named Alumna of the Year. Recipient of awards for outstanding work in child welfare. Women's Council of Brooklyn won Woman of the Year award, and others for youth in action and her humanitarianism. She is now a congresswoman for the state of New York. Has her office in the United States House of Representatives. Located in Washington, D.C. Shirley Chisholm is a native New Yorker. U.S. Presidents, copyright TCG, printed in USA. And Gerald Ford follows her. So Gerald Ford's kind of put in there between the candidates, but there was some upheavalness in the early mid-70s, not the mid-early 70s. Or maybe it was the mid-early 70s, or the later early 70s, or the early mid-70s. Anyway, there was some shenanigans happening there. Burglars, plumbers, duct tape, all that stuff. So here we are, the 1972 top U.S. presidents, which apparently extended into 1976 to update us on the goings-on. And that's that. 4 of these I have, and if they come at me, they come at me. Otherwise, I will not go after them myself because these folks work for me. Basement Tapes number 243. Thanks so much, everybody.